You know that moment. The conversation is already supposed to be over. You're standing near your car, keys in your hand, and somehow she's still there asking one more question. The air feels different. Not dramatic. Not obvious. Just charged in this quiet, almost unspoken way. She smiles at something small you said 20 minutes ago. She remembers a detail you forgot you even mentioned. Then you drive home thinking about it way longer than you want to admit. And the whole time, this is what's running through your head. Was she just being nice? Am I reading too much into this? Why did that feel different? Did she mean anything by that? Or am I just making this up because I want it to be true? Here's the counterintuitive truth. When a woman secretly likes you, the signs usually are not loud. They're not big confessions. Not exaggerated flirting. Not some movie scene where everything becomes obvious all at once. They're smaller than that. More subtle. More real. They show up in the way her attention shifts, the way her nervous system starts turning toward you before she's ready to say it out loud. So no, you're not crazy for noticing little things. You're not desperate. And you're not failing because you can't always tell the difference right away. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the 7 signs that usually show up when a woman secretly likes you, how to tell genuine interest from plain politeness, and what's actually happening beneath the surface when her feelings are real. Let's get into it. Most people believe attraction is obvious. Clean. Linear. If she likes you, she'll just make it clear. But the real truth is attraction is usually filtered through caution, emotional history, and the need for safety. Her mind might be curious, but her nervous system gets there first. And that matters more than most people realize. Because when a woman starts liking you, especially if she's emotionally aware, guarded, or has been hurt before, her feelings often show up as patterns before they show up as language. She may not say, "I like you." Not yet. But she starts paying attention in a different way. She starts tracking you. Responding to you differently. Letting her presence soften around you. Not louder signals. Not perfect confidence. Not instant certainty. But a repeated pattern of turning toward you. And here's what changes everything. If you only look for obvious flirting, you'll miss the real signs. But if you start watching for attention, emotional openness, curiosity, and repair, you'll see what most people miss entirely. Because secret liking isn't usually performed. It's revealed. In small moments. In tone changes. In remembered details. In the quiet way she makes space for you before she even knows she's doing it. So let's talk about the 7 things women do when they secretly like you. 1. She remembers what most people forget. This one matters. A lot more than you think. Most couples, if you ask them how it started, won't talk about some huge romantic gesture. They'll talk about a moment when one person remembered something small that everyone else let pass. Most people hear your words. A woman who secretly likes you pays attention to their meaning. Because attention is never random. It follows emotional significance. When she likes you, her nervous system starts tagging you as important before her mind fully explains why. That's why the little things stick. The name of your sister. The coffee order you mentioned once. The stressful meeting you had on Thursday. The random story about how you used to hate birthdays as a kid. She's not collecting facts. She's building an emotional map of you. But here's what nobody explains. Memory is one of the earliest forms of connection. If she circles back to something small you said days ago, what's often moving through her is, "You stayed with me after the conversation ended." That's a big deal. Quietly. Internally. Real. So the disconnecting version sounds like this. You say, "Yeah, my mom's surgery is this week." A few days later, nothing. The connecting version sounds like this. She texts, "Hey, how did your mom's surgery go? I was thinking about that." Or, you seemed off when you mentioned your brother last time. Is everything okay? That's not just politeness. That's emotional presence. And when she remembers the parts of you most people overlook, the space between you starts feeling less random and more like something real is becoming possible. 2. She creates small reasons to talk to you. Here's the part no one talks about. Attraction usually enters quietly. Most couples don't start with grand moves. They start with low-risk bids for connection that almost look accidental from the outside. Most people think if a woman likes you, she'll make some huge obvious move. But the real pattern is usually smaller than that. She finds little reasons to keep the thread alive. She sends you a meme that made her think of you. She asks a question she could have Googled. She replies to your story with something simple that didn't really need to be said. She finds one more excuse. Then another. Why? Because liking someone can feel exposing. Her nervous system is trying to move closer without feeling reckless. So instead of making one giant leap, she creates little stepping stones. Tiny invitations. Tiny tests. Tiny moments of turning toward you to see if you'll meet her there. Not because she's confused. Not because she's playing games. Not because she wants attention for no reason. But because vulnerability often arrives in pieces before it arrives in full sentences. And this is where it gets really interesting. Those small reasons are rarely small emotionally. Maybe she sends, "This made me laugh and I immediately thought of you." Maybe she asks, "Wait, what was that restaurant you mentioned?" Maybe she says, "You'd probably have a strong opinion on this." That's not just conversation. That's emotional re-entry. The disconnecting version is you treating every one of those moments like random filler. One-word answers. Flat replies. No curiosity back. The connecting version is you noticing the bid beneath the surface and answering it with warmth. She says, "This song feels like something you'd like." You could say, "Cool." Or you could say, "You know me that well already?" Send it. One shuts the door. One opens it wider. And when you respond to those little bids with real presence, the interaction stops feeling casual and starts feeling like a bridge neither of you has to name yet. 3. Her curiosity gets personal, not just polite. This is a big one. And most guys miss it. Most couples began the moment one person stopped asking surface-level questions and started reaching for the inner world instead. Most people can make conversation. A woman who secretly likes you wants context. She wants texture. She wants to know what kind of person you are when nobody's performing. So the questions shift. Not just, "What do you do?" But, "Do you actually like what you do?" Not just, "How was your weekend?" But, "What kind of stuff makes you feel most like yourself?" Not just, "Where are you from?" But, "What was your family dynamic like growing up?" That shift matters because attraction isn't just about being near you. It's about wanting access to your internal world. When she likes you, she becomes curious about what shaped you, what you care about, what hurts you, what drives you, what calms you down. She's not just interviewing you. She's trying to feel the emotional architecture beneath the surface. And here's what changes everything. Curiosity is one of the purest signs of real interest. Because when someone imagines emotional closeness with you, their questions change. Their attention deepens. Their listening gets slower. Something in her is quietly asking, "Who are you when you feel safe enough to be real?" The disconnecting version sounds like this. She asks, "So what was that like for you?" And you give her the safest possible answer. "It was fine." The connecting version sounds like this. She asks, "What was that like for you?" And you say, "Honestly, it made me realize I'm a lot more guarded than people think." Now the room changes. Now it's not just talking. Because when her curiosity becomes personal, what she's really offering you is a doorway. And if you walk through it, the connection starts feeling less like chemistry and more like recognition. 4. She tests whether you feel emotionally safe. Man, this is the one most people completely misunderstand. Most couples don't move closer just because the attraction is there. They move closer when the emotional environment feels safe enough for the attraction to land. And when a woman secretly likes you, she will often test that safety before she lets herself fully relax into what she feels. That test usually doesn't look dramatic. It looks subtle. Very subtle. She might tell you something slightly vulnerable and watch what you do with it. She might lightly disagree with you to see whether you become defensive. She might mention a boundary. She might reveal an insecurity in a half-joking way and then immediately change the subject. On the surface, it can look small. Beneath the surface, her nervous system is reading everything. Like a smoke detector. It reacts fast. Sometimes before logic catches up. Because if she likes you, the stakes feel higher. And when the stakes feel higher, safety matters more. Her inner world may be saying, if I let you matter, can I still feel like myself around you? Can I be honest here? Can I soften here? Or am I going to regret it? Not smoother flirting. Not better lines. Not a communication trick. But emotional steadiness. That's what she's looking for. So the disconnecting version sounds like this. She says, I'm kind of bad at texting when I'm overwhelmed. You reply, that sounds like an excuse. The connecting version sounds like this. She says, I'm kind of bad at texting when I'm overwhelmed. You reply, good to know. No pressure. I'd rather have honesty than guessing. Do you feel the difference? One response creates walls. One response creates safety. And when she starts realizing she doesn't have to perform, defend, or edit herself around you, that's when the distance between attraction and trust starts collapsing in the best possible way. 5. Her energy softens around you. Bro, this one is easy to miss if you only look for obvious signs. Most couples, when they look back, remember that the real beginning wasn't just flirting. It was a softening. A change in tone. A difference in how one person's body and presence settled around the other. Most people expect attraction to look louder. But a woman who secretly likes you often becomes quieter in a very specific way. Not withdrawn. Not flat. Just softer. Her voice changes. Her eye contact lingers a little longer. Her smile becomes less social and more real. She stays in the moment instead of bouncing out of it. She teases you in a way that feels warm, not generic. She relaxes. And that matters because when someone likes you, what often happens first is not intensity. It's reduced armor. The walls don't crash down all at once. They loosen. Like a fist unclenching one finger at a time. What looks simple from the outside is usually her nervous system saying, I can exhale here. This is why you have to watch for contrast. How is she with you compared to everyone else? Maybe in a group she's socially smooth with everybody, but with you there's more presence. More stillness. More actual attention. She isn't just talking near you. She's with you. The disconnecting version is missing that entirely and assuming, she's like this with everyone. The connecting version is noticing that with others she's pleasant, but with you she lingers. With others she responds. With you she reveals. With others she smiles. With you she glows in a way that feels less performed. She says to the group, yeah, that was fun. Then she turns to you and says, but seriously, what you said earlier stuck with me. That second moment tells the truth. That's the one to watch. And when her energy softens around you, the whole interaction starts to feel less like social chemistry and more like two nervous systems quietly choosing each other. 6. She starts placing you in her future. And this is the one most couples never figure out until way later. Most people think attraction lives in the present. A look. A text. A moment. But real interest often reaches forward. When a woman secretly likes you, she starts including you in future language before she's fully ready to include you in future labels. She says things like, You'd love this place. We should try that sometime. I saw something that reminded me of you. You need to watch this. Oh, you'd get along with my friends. Those lines sound casual. But they're not casual psychologically. Because the mind rehearses closeness before the heart confesses it. If she's placing you into future moments, even lightly, that usually means you've started taking up real space in her emotional world. She's not just enjoying the interaction while it's happening. She's imagining continuity. But here's what nobody explains. Future language is often a form of safe vulnerability. She may not be ready to say, "I want you in my life." So instead, what comes out is, "We should go there one day." Same feeling. Softer packaging. Less risk. More room to retreat if she has to. But the signal is still there. The disconnecting version is brushing past it like it means nothing. She says, "You'd love this little bookstore near my apartment." You say, "Haha, maybe." The connecting version is, "You'd love this little bookstore near my apartment." You say, "Then clearly you're going to have to show me." Now the energy has somewhere to go. Now the connection can breathe. Because when she starts speaking as if there might be a next chapter, even in tiny ways, what she's really revealing is that you're no longer just a moment to her. You're becoming a possibility. 7. She cares about repair when something feels off. This one might be the biggest sign of all. Most couples don't reveal the depth of their connection in the smooth moments. They reveal it in what happens after tension, awkwardness, delay, or misunderstanding. Most people let small ruptures die when they don't care enough. But when a woman secretly likes you, she usually doesn't want the connection to stay broken. So if something feels weird, she circles back. She clarifies. She checks in. She reopens the door. Maybe the conversation got awkward and later she says, "Hey, if that came off weird, I didn't mean it like that." Maybe there was a delay in texting and she explains herself even when she technically doesn't owe you one. Maybe she senses distance and tries again. That matters because repair is investment. People repair what they don't want to lose. And here's what changes everything. Interest shows up most clearly in what someone does after friction. Because when she likes you, silence doesn't feel neutral to her. It feels heavy. It feels unresolved. Something in her may be quietly saying, "I don't want this to drift just because neither of us knew what to say." That's real. That's care. That's emotional effort moving beneath the surface. The disconnecting version looks like this. A weird moment happens. She goes quiet. You both leave it there. The connection slowly hardens into distance like scar tissue forming over something that never got repaired. The connecting version looks like this. A weird moment happens. Later she says, "I feel like that got a little off. Are we good?" Or, "I didn't want to leave that weird between us." That's not random. That's not nothing. That's someone turning toward connection instead of away from it. And when a woman tries to repair the space between you, what she's often revealing is simple and powerful. You matter enough to her that the disconnection doesn't feel acceptable. So if you've been wondering whether she secretly likes you, stop looking only for the loud signals. Stop assuming the truth will arrive in some perfect, obvious moment. Because most of the time, it doesn't. It shows up in attention. In curiosity. In softness. In future language. In repair. In the small, repeated ways she turns toward you when she doesn't have to. And this isn't about becoming better at decoding women like some game. This isn't a trick for reading signs. This is about becoming the kind of person who can actually recognize real connection when it's happening. The kind of person who notices emotional presence, responds with maturity, and doesn't need everything to be loud before it feels real. When you internalize this, you stop chasing noise and start recognizing depth. You stop confusing politeness with presence. You stop missing what's actually right in front of you because it didn't arrive wrapped in certainty. And honestly, that changes everything about how you relate, how you read people, and how you show up when something real starts becoming possible. So if this video gave language to something you've been sensing but couldn't fully explain, subscribe and stick around, because this channel is about helping you understand connection at a deeper level, not just louder level.